There's different segments, whether you're a veteran or if you're live in a certain area. And each of those, like you said, it's not the full amount. Each one qualifies for a portion of the total $9,600.
Correct. Yep, absolutely. There's so many different variables to it. It's hard to just pinpoint, hey, you're a veteran, here's how much you qualify for. There's the tenure, there's which category you fall in. And this is why only 10% of the business owners out there in the United States actually utilize it, because not only is it confusing from a company standpoint, but also the paperwork can be a bit tedious, which is why using a credible payroll company is very important to utilizing the tax credits appropriately.
Absolutely. You guys can vet through those things. I like that word. You don't get to throw that word around very often. You can vet through all the different criteria
Yes.
to utilize it. And you want to you give people a chance to feel confident, to know that there's taxes out there and credits out there, I should say, for their taxes and help them along the way. So that's great. And we've touched on some of the details as far as payroll, but is there any other trends or latest things in the payroll world that's something for people to look out for?
Yeah, good question. I think especially post 2020, I would say prior to 2020, I didn't get a whole lot of emphasis or questions from clients surrounding HR, employee handbooks, job descriptions, things along those lines. For some reason, post 2020 has really changed the workforce and everything from a compliance standpoint. So here's why. Okay. If an employer has an employee and they fire them, let's just say the employee deserves to be fired. There are a number of things they're not doing appropriately. They get fired. That employee then goes and hires a labor law attorney. Oh, one of the first things, nobody wants to hear this.
Nobody wants to hear that. No, yeah.
One of the very first things the labor law attorney will ask the business owner for is, hey, do you have an employee handbook set in place with job descriptions outlining exactly what the employee is supposed to do on a day-to-day basis? And then did the employee sign along with the employer showing there's documentation that both agree? 9.5 times out of 10, the answer is no. I gave the employee a handshake. We agreed verbally. I thought that we're both adults, that we both understood, we're both on the same page. And that is all good and well until it's not. So it is very important. I tell my clients, it doesn't matter if you have one employee or if you have 500 employees, get an employee handbook in place, get those job descriptions laid out. So that way it is in writing, both sign off on it. And if you ever do, God forbid, have to go to court to defend yourself as a business owner, you have it in writing and a signature from the employee stating they understood what they were supposed to do on a day-to-day basis and that it was justified why they got terminated.
And that can be utilized later on if something happens. Like you said, if they bring a labor law attorney in, you'll be covered because it's written in paper, it's signed by the employee and signed by you with a date, and say, look, it was all spelled out right here. Now, the good thing is it's spelled out, but then if you find out as the employer, geez, I forgot, I deviated from this substantially. All of a sudden I had them doing closing at a restaurant and opening, and they're just supposed to be a server, and I was putting more on them. Then you could find, I just use that example, but you could find out all of a sudden that maybe I was putting too much on that employee, and it may come to light after the fact that they weren't doing it properly.
Sure, absolutely. My clients update their employee handbooks at least annually, if not more often than that. And if you promote an employee or things change, you want to get that signature updated. You want to make sure everything is up to date with, again, the employee's position and what's required of them is the most important.
Do you work with an attorney to do that, or do you guys internally at your company do employee handbooks start to finish?
Yeah, so we actually internally, we have a system in place where we provide legally reviewed documentation and legal help we partner with the organization SHRM, which is a huge HR organization, very prevalent here in Orlando.
Right.
We partner with them within Heartland's organization to ensure that legally reviewed documents are in place, such as probationary letters, 90-day probationary letters, really forms that aren't required, but highly recommended from an HR standpoint.
Right. Now, would you work with outside firms, or you usually just partner with that one firm typically?
So Heartland, my organization, partners with that firm. I have partnerships with attorneys that help me in different situations outside of that. But yes, Heartland itself utilizes SHRM.
Okay, that's great. And then getting that in place makes a huge difference. Number one, it's a burden off the employer's shoulder, knowing, right, I'm covered because they're doing these certain things, X, Y, Z. And then you say that, hey, I provide a bump or a nudge to my customers to say, update it. They're going to change roles. No one's going to stay in the same spot for the next 10 years. Roles are going to change.
Absolutely. And there's so much to an employee handbook. The job descriptions is just really, in my opinion, the bare minimum. It scratches the surface of what at least you should do.
Right.
Get all into state unemployment claims and employees that work for you for 10 days and try to file unemployment and how to protect yourself from that standpoint. There's a lot of different avenues we can go down, but really the point is that you want legal representation from an HR standpoint if you're a business, no matter what your employee count is.